Just out of curiosity, because I can hear it in your voice. You okay?
I'm just tired. My breakfast was coffee and those little tiny donuts because I didn't have cereal and I didn't have time. And I had to be at work at 8:30 and my client didn't show up till like after 9. So like it's been really annoying waiting on people to get their shit together. So yeah, well, now I know how you feel.
Hey, welcome back everybody to another episode of V-Time, episode 230. 230.
230. That's a lot of numbers.
Can you imagine we've done 230 episodes of this?
They're once a week, so that's 230 weeks of us.
Yep. So roughly 4 and almost 5 years now.
Well, we've been on here for more than 5, but that means we're under par on V-Time.
Exactly.
Holidays be damned.
Pretty much. Anyway, with that, we should have another short episode just like last week. There's not much. Set 5 did start leaking, but we've only seen commons that are gain 5k power off of conditions, so we're not going to cover those. The only thing we're going to be covering today is 5 cards each for each of the Stride deck sets, Night Rose and Hari. Huzzah!
Yippee!
Oh yes, package for Mr. Top Deck Heroes.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks. Mr. Top Deck Heroes. Mr. Top Deck Heroes, package. Man, another one? What is with this guy? Mr. Top Deck Heroes.
Again. Oh, Meldy again.
Mr. Top Deck Heroes. Your package. Oh God, thank you. That was heavy. What's in that one?
Oh, trading cards.
Cards. Was every one of them cards?
Yeah.
How can you afford that?
Oh, that's interesting you say that. I got it from the Voiceful Bit.
Secret.
Man, these people are crazy.
It's no secret. 50 cards. Use code TDHeroes for a discount.
Anyway, I'll ask you, Lon, this straight off question. Do you want Pale Moon or do you want Granblue?
We'll do Granblue, because at least I can understand that somewhat.
There we go. So I'll start us off with Pale Moon and the 5 cards it got. First one is going to be simple, straightforward, in the perfect guard they got, and it's of course Dark Side Mirror Master's back. She's basically got retrained. She is one of the new perfect guards where you don't have to discard if you have 1 or less cards in hand, so forth, so forth. Don't have much talk here. The only thing I did want to mention is, unlike some of the other Stride deck sets, mainly Keter and Dragon Empire with Shuren or Luard, most other decks cannot abuse the fact that these perfect guards are a certain thing. This
yeah,
one
I'll
can't.
say its race isn't significant unless we get a succubus kind of affinity for some reason. But other than it just being Clan Pale Moon, it might not be super relevant.
I think the only thing that potentially could abuse this is some of the Lukier support cards that might target Pale Moon cards, but that's a hard stretch. I would need to remember every single card that exists there. But you got to understand, Shiranui got a Nurakami Dragon Empire Perfect Guard, and it's a stealth, exactly. So fuck that.
So it's super searchable.
And then Keter, at first, it didn't matter. It got a Shadow Paladin one that didn't have a specific name. But then later in set 3 of DZ, we got Undercover, and it got a triple rare that said, oh, Undercover or Shadow Paladin, added to hand. Guess what the Shadow Paladin PG is?
Yeah, it was funny. Alex was just talking about that. We did our pre-release Friday at our locals, and he pulled the triple rare, and he was talking about it. He's like, oh, this is just a huge upgrade for Luard. He's like, I'm hyped for this. I'm like, that is pretty stupid. Because Luard already searches for everything, just not PGs. Now it does both.
It's a huge upgrade for Luard, and ironically, it's a huge upgrade for PBO.
Well, no, it's a really good upgrade for Luard because they just had 4 slots open up. The dog moved out.
I forget I love having you on videos because you're just savage in a good way. Anyway, that's all I wanted to mention about PGs. Same thing we're going to say for the Granblue one when we get there. But we got to move on to next cards. The next one is, again, also very obvious. All the Stride Deck sets get one. And it's basically the retrain of the Stride Fighters. We got Masquerade Bunny back. Same ability as always. In your hand,
Good art.
if you're playing the cost for Stride, it's a grade 3. And then also in your hand, if you have a match Magician Hari Crest, you can discard it to search for the grade 3 card, reveal it out of the hand, and shuffle the deck. Simple, straightforward.
Yep. Good
I think
stuff.
the only ones in all the Stride Deck sets that were different was Luard. Because Luard never needed really to search another fucking Luard, because you can just Stride for fucking free.
Yeah, them cheaters.
Yeah, because you didn't have to discard it for Stride. Owl just said, oh, since I'm never going to be discarded for Stride, let me just do something else. What's that something else can I fucking charge? We get the nitty gritty. We get nitty gritty tech options, spices, and all that. First off, we got Direful Doll or Netta. And before anybody out there asks for Androlt, no, unfortunately, Androlt cannot use this card because both of her abilities are tied to the Magic Magician Hari Crest. First one being auto, when the student is placed on rear guard from hand. If you have a Masked Magician Hari Crest, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 card from among them, put it into Soul, and shuffle the deck. And the second ability is auto, when the student is placed on Guardian Circle. If you have a Masked Magician Hari Crest, you may Soul Charge 1.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Just always just looking at the top cards, and cherry picking is always good card effects.
Deck thinning is deck winning, especially in a deck that wants to have specific pieces in Soul to call out a Soul. This just helps fix your Soul, get your pieces, set up your combos, so forth and so forth. A certain Pale Moon player that will be showing up sooner or later is a little bit mad that, or not mad, a little bit disappointed the fact that it says placed from hand. Because he wants to break it.
To be fair, it is balanced, because boy, how it is be cracked if it didn't have from hand. Just doing that every turn top 5, you're like super compressing the entire game. That just be put a cost on it. Yeah, like an energy blast cost. Since energy is now a thing, they could just start putting it in Stride decks.
Exactly. Now, one card so far we've seen for both of these Stride Deck sets have an energy cost, even though we are going to be getting the energy crest in the set in these products as well.
You could balance it too. Even if it's just an energy blast 3, like you're only energy charging 3 a turn. So like unless you're going second, well, no, then at that point you could make it energy charge 4 to guarantee it's a once per turn thing, and maybe not even every once a turn. It's like every other turn you get to do it.
Exactly, because
So
all of the Stride Deck sets are gonna be running the Festival Grade 1's Energy Blast 3, remove from game, add a card, you discard it back to hand. Because they can just abuse the shit out of it. You discard a Grade 3 that draws your card when it's discarded for Ride or Stride. You Energy Blast 3, put it back to hand, and discard the same thing for Stride and draw another card. So they already have a card they're gonna be putting in the decks to Energy Blast and just abuse the shit.
Yeah, so yeah, putting an Energy Blast 3 then would be fair. That way you have to choose, do I use the grade 1 or do I use this? Do I want one thing back from a drop, or do I want to gamble the top 5 for a good card? I think rather than PG. Or, well, no, that goes to Soul, but either way, getting a card's good.
Exactly. Now, moving on to the combo piece. Like every Stride Deck set, the grade 3 usually has an ability to discard, draw, and then something else that's like GB2 10k. For some fucking reason, Hari said, no, we're going to be different, fam. We got Flying Manticore. It's the grade 3 retrain for Hari. It has 2 abilities that are very fun. Continuous, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Hari in its card name, this card gets all of the following abilities. Magia, auto rearguard, generation break 1. At the end of the battle that this unit attacked, if you did not call a unit from your Soul during your battle phase this turn, counter +1, put this unit into Soul, choose up to 1 card with a different card name from this card from your Soul, call it to rearguard, and then at the end of the turn, put the called unit into Soul. And of course, the second ability, like always, when this card is discarded from hand while paying the cost of Stride, you draw a card.
That's pretty good, because usually in these Stride decks, they get their grade 3 that does a thing. This one, I feel, does the most out of them so far. Because usually most decks will cut that grade 3 after a certain point. I think Luard and Jet kind of sometimes run theirs, but otherwise, like Messiah's like, nah, we don't need that. We got a better grade 3.
Exactly the point.
Same.
Messiah cut its out because it was just a 10k plus if you had two lock cards, I believe. Jet sometimes runs its own because it's a good attacker, and you sometimes time leap into grade 3s. Most of the time they might want to take it out as well, but that's up to the Jet player.
For the triple rare from set 13, I think.
Exactly. Shiranui used to run, certain builds used to run the other Shiranui because they used to run the Soldier Ride line, so it was a stealth target, as well as just another card that can be discarded to draw a card for Stride, which is just more value. I think recent Shiranui decks, because of the new restrictions, are not running it anymore.
They're back to the dragon.
Exactly. And then Luard definitely runs its grade 3. Not because it's a ditch to draw, not because
ritual.
it's a 20 exactly. It's a 23k ritual unit.
It's actually good too. And so this one is reminiscent of that. Like we're getting into a new era of these encounter decks where their in deck cards are preferred over outside help. And this one is a classic example.
This one especially because exactly, because outside of this, Harry doesn't have any way to multi-attack. This is your only multi-attack.
Exactly. So it's like a guaranteed staple to stay in the deck. It's hard to want to cut it to abuse the deck further, like the triple rare dragon for Dark States.
I do like that this reminds me a little bit of the era Alice, where instead of being Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, put the Soul, call something else out, it's just Counterblast 1, put the Soul, do the thing. It is GB locked, but still, same. My point stands.
I'm just getting
fun things.
Nostalgia, Beast Tamers, Pale Moon.
So
It's very nostalgic. Oh yeah.
Speaking of, we have our first Stride. We only got one Stride for both decks, so we're still missing for both decks the main Stride, as well as one more card that is predicted to be like a very staple. This deck runs around this. Think Upstream, think Arrestor Messiah, think Morfessa for Luard, that type of card.
Yeah.
So the first Stride usually is the setup Stride, the push Stride, go for it. And this time around, he is back. Jester, Demonic Dragon, Lunatic Dragon. Yes, I can already hear John going, Dragon.
Well, so I'll be the first one to say it. It's not Lunatic. I think it'd be cool if it was. It's Lunatech, which is like, come on, just make it a crazy guy. Just make it a crazy dragon. He's already got dragon in his name twice. Just make him crazy. Make him go to the balls. But it's Lunatech. Like it's a weird like technology versus lunar thing, which is all Pale Moon kind of thing. But I was just like, oh, that's a missed opportunity. I hope that's a translation error. I want to be a lunatic. It's unfortunate.
Anywho, its abilities. Huzzah! Stride, of course, like always, Stride abilities. But it only has one effect, and that is Magia Act. Vanguard once per turn cost. Turn a card in your G zone face up. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Choose up to 1 card from and then put it into Soul and shuffle the deck. Choose up to 1 card from your Soul and call it to rear guard. At the end of the turn, put that called unit into Soul. So it filters the deck more. So it filters the deck more, exactly. It calls stuff out of Soul so you can +1 to board. And the only cost is flipping a G unit, which if you think about it is not a cost because that's basically 5k to the front row for that turn.
Yeah, excuse my ignorance. Hari, what's her on-stride cost? It's Counterblast to do a thing?
Counterblast 1, I believe it's Soul Charge 1. Choose a card from your Soul, call it to rearguard. It gains 4k power? 5k power.
Yeah. So this helps you just get a second rearguard so you can build a board from next to nothing.
Yeah, pretty much. And if you call the correct cards, you might even be able to get a third one maybe. I don't remember. So you can start All I remember, because you might have missed this information in the last feed time, they get, you know how on the crest they always give that last ability that's flavored to the deck?
Yeah.
Hari got the last ability for the Hari crest is GB2. If 2 or more cards were put into your Soul during your end phase, draw a card.
Well, I mean, as soon as you use this guy on your first Stride, you're there.
Exactly, because the Stride ability also says put it back into Soul, and then there's other cards that say Magia ability, put it back into Soul at the end of turn.
So having card draw is really good then on that. We were talking about it last night. at locals, the Silverthorn Grade 2 dragon. Like
Yeah.
it's the only restriction to Lukier is the power. Everything else is generic, so you can get more card draw.
know what else?
And like more soul charge.
You know what else is generic? The last card we got in set 3 as well. It's a grade 3 that says if your Vanguard's Pale Moon, this is also Pale Moon, so it fits in the deck nicely. It's basically just on place, choose a card from your drop, put into Soul, so you can get pieces back that you might have missed or discarded. And then on top of that,
really good.
yeah, and on top of that, it is a potential 23k attacker.
Huh, that's okay. That's solid.
Because of Lukier existing, Hari actually has a lot more toys to use and play around with. And sadly, the same thing cannot be said for Night Rose. So, with that, let's go into Night Rose. Lon, it's your turn.
Oh yeah, look, it's a PG. It's the Jin Water Spout, a classic card. Yeah, just the Sentinel ability. Put onto Guardian Circle, choose one of your units, can't be hit. If your hand's 2 or more cards, choose a card from your hand and discard it. So, you know, the free PG if you're really clutch. But I mean, if you're playing a Stride deck, that never happens because your hand's always full.
So Lon, I want you to remember this card. Because later I'm going to tell you a very funny combo that probably is going to be ran in Night Rose. We'll get to there. We need to read all the cards first.
I mean,
the only
Night
thing
Rose
I
and comboing sounds, it's like, yes, in other breaking news, Fork found in kitchen.
Exactly. The only thing I want to mention about Jin is it is so weird to see him with green in his card because of the Stoicheia.
You were so used to the blue, the deep blue. Yeah, he's such a classic card. What, this is his third version of him?
Yeah. Holy shit.
I mean, he's had 2 prints in the original because he had a reprint that gave him a new art, which was cool because he's like looking straight at you. And then the V draw trigger reprint, retrain, whatever. It's just nice to go back to seeing PG symbols. I like that. I just, it's like seeing classic cards, nostalgia. That's what Vanguard likes to inject into their card games, is reap our money.
Well, we definitely have more nostalgia coming here. You're definitely going to remember these 2.
Oh, the Stride card. Tommy the Ghosty Brothers. I remember seeing this too often. But yes, it does this typical Stride ability. When you're paying the cost for Stride, you can discard it as a grade 3. And if you have the Vampire Princess Night Fog Night Rose Crest, you can discard this card, search your deck for a grade 3 with Night Rose and its card name, reveal it and put it in your hand and shuffle the deck. You know, just classic stuff. And oh, is that, if my eyes deceive me, is that Night Rose in the background?
It is, it really is.
Okay, that's a lot better than the original. Then she's just in the art. You get more Night Rose per square inch.
Yes, you do. I was gonna say that for a deck that wants to put stuff in drop zone, being able to discard, search your deck, and have something, you know, in their discard pile is nice. Unfortunately, this version, Night Rose doesn't seem to much care about quantity of cards in drop, more of quality of cards in drop.
Which honestly, though, for how grindy the games can be right now, that's probably a good thing, because decking out is sometimes a very big possibility.
You are right. You are 100% right. Anyway, moving on to probably one of my favorite cards that we're going to probably stick here for a bit.
Oh no, this guy again. Witch Doctor of Langur, Negro Lazy. You know, that name that makes your hair stand up on the back of your neck. So yeah, I just immediately read his flavor text. It is said that he abused the secret arts of the dead. Just abused. Yes, he is an abusive card. He has the hollow ability. When this unit is placed on Rigor Circle, you may have it become hollowed. If you do, retire it at the end of turn. You know, what they all want to do. Because Messiah can go, you know, lick a stump. When this unit becomes the hollowed... So when this unit becomes hollowed, other than during the battle phase, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Night Resonance card name cost, counterblast 1, choose a card from your drop, call it to rearguard circle, build a column, or build another rearguard. GB1, when this hollowed unit is retired from rearguard circle, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Night Resonance card name and you did not countercharge this turn, countercharge 1. So it's free. Yippee! Oh boy, no punishment.
I'm gonna show you, or I'm gonna tell you something that this card just starts abusing the shit out of. So, here's one little fact about this card. It says for its second ability, it's excluding the fact that Hollow is the first ability, that when this unit becomes hollowed, other than during the battle phase, Cannabis won't call a card from your drop. Night Rose's GB2 ability says, when at the end of turn, when one of your other units is put into drop from rearguard, you can mill the top 3 cards of your deck to call that unit back to rearguard. This happens at the end phase.
So you don't get an extra attack, but you just have a guy out there. So if your opponent's itching...
The important part is here, you can have this on board, hollow it, do your turn, attack, whatever. End turn happens, hollow units die one at a time because each of them has the hollow ability. Each of the hollow abilities resolve one at a time. So you can choose whatever has the hollow ability. Okay, so this dies first, this dies second, yada, yada, yada. What you do is, there's one combo that probably everybody's gonna do, and then there's a combo that I'm cooking with that I want to test out if it's gonna be funny or not. The combo that everybody's gonna do is, what's gonna happen is, Negralaze is gonna die, you're gonna countercharge. So even if you're fully CB'd out, you're gonna get a CB. Then you're gonna activate Night Rose's GB2 ability, mill 3, call him back. Now the crest, if you don't know, the crest for Night Rose changed to the GB2 ability that said when you mill 3, choose a card that you milled, put it back on the bottom of your deck. So that way if you mill triggers, you can put them back to deck.
Okay, that sounds good. I was about to say, man, that sounds like a downside. What if you mill your good shit?
Exactly. The funny part here becomes, when Negralazy dies countercharges, Night Rose activates, mills, calls him back. He gets called in the end phase, you can have him get hollowed again, which activates his second ability, so counter +1, call a card from drop zone to rearguard. So because you made him hollow, you call something, he will still die, but the call thing, unless you made it hollow, will not die. You know what you want to call to the rearguard at the end phase?
Probably something I'm not thinking of, but
shoot. A perfect guard.
Oh.
Because Stoicheia in the Festival Booster got a set order that says choose one of your rear guards, put it to Guardian Circle.
Oh. Well, it's cute, but I think there's too many decks that control now, so they can snipe rear guards before they go into battle.
Which is exactly my point.
For very specific matchups, it's like, oh, it's free. It's free PG. And they have to go out of the way to get rid of just a little guy otherwise.
Exactly.
So, like, I think it's cute. I don't think it's going to be, groundbreaking.
It's not groundbreaking. It's basically the same thing Luar decks have been doing. Luar decks have been doing a similar thing where they call the PG, they run the set order, they put the PG into the bind zone, then they run Liel as a card to guard with. It's not actually going to guard, but it's going to put those PGs back into the back to bottom of the deck. Where it's like, yeah, you can basically do the same thing. If you're fighting someone that doesn't have removal and you put the PG in the back row, they can't touch it. So you now have a PG to guard with. You guard with it, goes to bind zone, and then it's Stoicheia. It's a fucking nation that has Zorga in it. You have cards that say on place, choose cards from bind zone, put them to drop and do shit.
Now, Stoicheia's like just ability pool is super wide. It's mostly generic for a good bit of it. So no, Night Rose can do some silly stuff, I don't doubt. It's going to be a hard deck to solve because you're paralyzed by choice. So there's going to be a lot of iterations.
There's one combo that I asked rulings for, specifically for the hollow ability, if all of them die at the same time or one by one. There's one card that I want to cook with because I find it very funny. There's a card that came out in, I don't remember what set, but it's basically a Stoicheia card that says, when this unit is called over a unit that was on a rearguard, so you have to call over something, you can Soul Blast 1 against power, but you draw a card. So what you do is, end turn happens, some stuff is going to die because of hollowed. It has to get called over a grade 1 or less, so you basically just leave a grade 1 on the board. You Negralazy dies, comes back with Night Rose. You call that grade 1 over something that's on the board that's a grade 1 or less. You Soul Blast 1 and draw a card. So it's a funny way to go mill 2, call back, counterblast, draw.
Okay, no, the draw card, I think that's more viable than just like trying to get a PG to get into the Guardian Circle. Just simply drawing more cards is just good. I'd argue is better than hoping your opponent doesn't interact with your board during their turn.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
I just checked something, or I was told something in my ear. Thank you, Peanut Gallery. Night Rose's ability is GB2, not end phase, just whenever it happens. Therefore, you end phase, you do it. It goes to your turn, your opponent's turn. You have that ability fresh to go. So if you call a PG to the board and they go retire, you can mill 3, put 1 back, call that PG back, and say, "Do it again, I dare you."
No, that's pretty silly. Makes it a little easier to do the order ability to try to get it back in there. It's like, all right, waste another resource, make my day, the things that's going to come back on my turn anyways.
Hell, this actually might even be good because if you're lucky, because this is all luck, if you mill 2 normal units and a trigger, you put the trigger back. So they're just helping you deck fin during their phase.
Yeah, I guess the only thing is there anything in Night Rose that helps you search your deck so you can shuffle these triggers around? Because
yes.
boy, Luar can do that too. They'll put crits back on the bottom, and then they're like, "Oh, we're gonna just search my deck for more grade 1s," and then they just shuffle it all around.
Glad you asked, Long, because we got 2 more cards to talk about.
Gotcha. So we got Witch Doctor of Powdered Bone, Negro Bone. So just like Dragon, we have Bone. If this auto Vanguard circle at the end of the battle, this unit was placed from drop this turn. The wording on this: at the end of the battle, this unit placed from drop this turn boosted. If you have a Vampire Princess of Night Rose, whatever crest, retire this unit and draw a card. Okay, like you said, card draw.
It basically says, was this called from drop this turn? Yes. Okay, at the end of the battle that it boosted, retire, draw.
Those have never been abused before.
No, never.
Just good generic stuff. Never.
Never, ever, never.
It sounds like Night Rose is going to have a deck out problem.
Yeah, with all the milling and drawing.
To be fair, right? Messiah's got a worse problem because, boy, they have to soul charge a crap ton and they draw a crap ton. So their deck gets really small really fast.
True. Anyway, that was a simple card. Simple, straightforward. It's time for the big boy.
I'm so glad they used this guy as one of the strides because I always loved his art. He was like, because originally when he was printed, he was only like a single rare, like in a Fires collection. If not, he was just a double. So like a lot of people just kind of glazed him over. Like, he's not triple rare, let's just ignore him. And then he's like, actually, he's really good. Let's use him. And so yeah, the ghosty Great King Obadiah, just a classic guy. So simple stride ability, and just 2 stride, ditching grade 3s. But he has an act Vanguard circle. Once a turn costs, turn a card from G zone face up. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Choose up to 1 card from among them, discard it, shuffle the deck, choose up to 1 card from your drop and call it to rear guard circle. And if you called a unit with the hollow ability, that unit gets +5 till end of turn. So you're selectively milling, and you don't even have to call that card. So it's never a whiff because like whatever's in your drop, you can get any card. It just I'm just going to add this card for later combos this turn. And I'm going to call, Witch Doctor or Negro Lazy. Like, just, it doesn't have to be that card. It's like, all right, keep the triggers in the deck, keep the PGs in the deck, get this thing out.
And you technically give it 10k power because this effect will give it 5k, and you flip the card in G zone, it gives 5k to the front row. So you can give something basically 10k power. Yeah,
no, it's just solid card. It does exactly what the deck wants to do. Selective milling. It's fair because it just makes you discard it, so you can't just like, okay, cool, I'm going to add this PG to my hand. It's like, no, it has to go to drop, and then the rest gets shuffled, so you're not milling a bunch of cards at once, like older versions of, I'm bad with names. It's too early for me. I just fought it last night too. Mr. The other necromancer that we have in Vanguard.
Columbard?
No, don't think stride. No, not retrains. They're just in their current game. I'm just blanked on his name completely just
Zorga?
Now. Zorga, yeah. I don't know why his name just completely left my brain. But yeah, it's just, early Zorga, which was like multiples of cards at a time. And so like it was just an uncontrolled version of this. This is a very selective version, which most Stoicheia players like that play with their drop. This is a preferred outcome of just selectively picking.
I'm going to talk about that real quick before my brain starts to say something stupid. So on paper, it doesn't sound too bad, but in reality, when you start looking at all the cards we currently have, unlike Hari, Night Rose only has 3 attacks right now. It has no way to multi-tech at this current point. And the only thing you're really doing is calling cards from drop and looking at top 5 to put 1 card to drop and call it to a rear guard with this stride. It's a nifty setup stride, but what happens, and this is also for Lunatic Dragon, what happens when you look at top 5 and you see nothing but fucking triggers?
You have to make a hard call. It's up to 1. You can choose 0.
At that point, you literally just get a call. So at least they do still something, yeah.
That's what I think is at least makes the card good, is like it doesn't have to be out of those top 5 you have to call to rear guard. You can fill up your graveyard to your own choice, and then you call something out, and if it's hollow, it gets bonus power. So like, all in all, solid card.
I do miss the old Obadiah. He literally just said, hey, search your deck for 1 card, put it into drop. Sorry, 3 cards, put it into drop.
Yeah, even worse. So yeah, I think this, they're deep-power creeping cards. Yeah, that would crack the format. Who needs multi-attack when I can mill 3 non-triggers and get a free thing, like if we were going by the old one. So no, I think this is, it's everything's going to be a little watered down from what it used to be, but that's kind of how you have to be to keep it somewhat tame.
So I think the Night Rose and Hari strides that we're going to be getting are going to be busted. The reason I say this is because when you compare the first strides of these 2 stride deck sets, so Obadiah, Lunatic, when you compare them with the first strides of all the other stride deck sets, they kind of fall flat. Because these old stride deck sets, first strides, if you want to call them like that, were also strides that sometimes you just want to go into to finish the game. Jets, the longer the game went, going into Time Leaper, wasn't Time Leaper, but going into the stride, Fate Rider, thank you. Going into Fate Rider basically just meant cool, attack, or whatever, Time Leap, gain 5k for every face-up card in G-Zone. So more cards in G-Zone, bigger fucking power. Yeah, so he honestly started becoming more dangerous the longer the game goes. Same thing can be kind of said for Amnesty Messiah. Just the game didn't have to go long. If you had like 4 locked units on board, okay, cool. Attack, lock, attack with Vanguard. I'm going to get my 5 attacks. I'm going to unlock something. And whatever I unlock is going to gain 20 fucking K power because I can.
Yeah, no, they just got huge. So yeah, just having huge stacks. So yeah, if these guys are this like the power they give is like, watered down and like power, contained, that means their next stride's gonna be maybe cracked. Because like, to be fair, like with Jet, like it was next stage, right? I'm bad with memory. Next stage was like, it's good, but like at the same time, if they go into it and they don't win, it's like, man, I just spent a lot of resources and I might lose now. It's just for very opportune moments, like, oh, my opponent has like 6 or less cards in hand. I'm cool. I'm gonna make them have it, or I have the game. And there's very few outs to my strat.
Yeah, Exilus was in a similar boat of, I can go into this stride. I'm gonna gain technically a little bit more power across the board instead of 1 unit. I'm gonna have a crit on my Vanguard, and I can technically guarantee myself 5 attacks without having actual units that lock themselves in the front row. But it was like, sometimes I just want this one big rearguard to be one big rearguard.
Exactly, yeah.
And then you can say the same thing for Luard. like Luard sometimes wants to go into Drag Rider instead of Strider because it's like, well, I have enough CB. Let me just execute how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 attacks because I can.
I think the true power of both these decks that we're not fully considering is, and like much like Luard, is unlike Messiah and Jet, they get free rear guards for the most part because it's in their mechanics. So their hand's going to be just mostly full of just, they don't have to call hardly anything. Discards is selective of like, oh, I'm going to PG and discard this unit that needs to be called for my drop later. And with Hari, they selectively mill their deck by soul charging what they want to soul charge.
I mean, you're completely right, because on Stride with this one, like first Stride, Counterblast one, call something from drop, give it power with Night Rose's ability. And then Obadiah, okay, cool, act ability, deck fin, call something. Let's say we call Lazy, Counterblast another one, call another thing. So just by discarding one card, which more than likely was a card that said you draw a card, you made 3 units on the board potentially with the correct card. Hell, if you have enough CB and the correct cards, you can make 4 units calling 2 Lazies.
Yeah, you can have a full columns. So that's, I think, the secret power to these decks is just the resource, the card advantage by not having to call from hand. Because Messiah has to make boards from its hand. Jet has to do the same thing. They will replace their cards, but if they fight a controlled deck, it's hard for them. Same with Messiah, because having to build boards from scratch. And the one theme how I beat Messiah is when they don't have a second rear guard to call to the front row. It's like, cool, 2 attacks, 3 when you unlock. Cool, I'm safe.
But and unlike both of these Stride decks, both Night Rose and Hari have Magia and Hollow. Hollow, end turn, go to drop. Magia, end turn, go to soul. Fucking run away.
Exactly. So they run away from control decks. And the Hollow deck, it can call stuff back if, like we were talking earlier, but that's all your choice. You don't have to call anything. You can just like, all right, I know I'm fighting a control deck. I'm not going to feed you anything because you're going to bind my shit. So pass.
Oh, you're playing something that can't touch my rear guards? Here's a perfect guard in the back row I can use. Oh, you should have something that's going to touch my rear guards? Yeah, I'm going to protect everything.
Oh, it's so funny. If you call the PG and you fight against the lyrical, the Gorgon deck, and so they have to bounce your rear guards. So I was like, yes, please, bounce this PG to my hand. I would love it if you did that. No, that'd be hilarious. That's a very unique scenario, but otherwise, no, I think they have good card advantage by not playing the same game as everyone else.
I can agree with that. So with that, that's been it for the Stride Deck set reveals of this week. For next week, if I can find it real quick, I did not prepare it properly. For next week, on the Tuesday stream, we'll be getting DZ Set 5, A Missing Awakening. We will be getting the recap from the episode, which we're going to talk about here in a bit. Getting Destined One of Time, Liel Odium. So huzzah, we're showcasing her support cards, and her ride line. As for the Thursday stream, we are going all the way into seeing finally what the big units are going to do for these Stride Deck sets, as we're getting Misty, Phantasm, Pirate King, Night Rose, and another rear guard for a total of 2 cards, as well as set 5 double rare and common support cards for Orphist.
To be fair, Orphans don't need a lot of help, but Dude X says, correct me if I'm wrong, pre-release promos are legal, right, since they're promos?
I think technically they still fall under the 2/1 week rule now. So they're technically legal drop of set.
Well, I don't care, because guess who played it Friday night at locals?
Did you have fun with it, Deer?
Yes. That card, it'd been so long since I recorded with it with Alex, I forgot how good it was. And I'm just sitting there playing with it like, oh, this thing is so cracked. It just, it solved so many problems for the deck. I just forgot how many problems the deck had after, set 13, since energy got introduced, how lacking the deck was. And that just one promo did so much. So if we can get a double rare and a common to do more for the deck, I'm all for it. But I'm not entirely holding my breath. Just hopefully, something that uses energy is cool, because Reindeer is nice, but like I can't guarantee to open it every game.
So, Lon, I'm gonna only tell you like this. I really, really, from the bottom of my heart, hope that your double rare for Orphist is nowhere near in the same fucking state, like no fucking continent, as the Jejul double rare we got.
Oh, was that one dog doo doo?
I'll tell you later, but yes.
It was dog water. Sorry to hear that.
Anyway, with that, like I said, next week we are getting Liel Odium. And because of the episode, we have some sneak peeks into her ability. We're going to go through them here decently fast. So, Destined One of Time Liel Odium, from the episode, we can tell, apparently she makes a gay set order token like Impaldio does, which is funny. And just like Impaldio says, continuous Vanguard, all of your front row rear guards get power 5k for each of your regress gauges named Distorted Bane.
That's
so for every gauge named Distorted Bane, 5k to the front row. That's going to be fun.
So it's like striding without striding.
Pretty much. Distorted Bane is a normal order. We'll get to what exactly it does later. But her other ability is apparently Act Vanguard. When this unit attacks, Soul Blast 1 and put a card from your rear guard face up as a regress gauge. And this unit gets triple drive. So it's a increase regress gauge, gain triple drive type of card for Soul Blast, which is cool. A divine skill. Vanguard, at the end of the battle that this unit attacked, if you have 5 or more regress gauges, discard 2 cards from your hand and you get an additional turn. Skip the right phase and main phase of that turn, and during that additional turn, this unit gets drive -1.
Huh. So you said you skipped the main phase and the ride phase, so you still get to draw, right?
You get the stand, draw, energy, skip
and then you go straight
ride,
into the battle.
Skip main, straight battle phase. Yep.
Gotcha. So you work with what you got, so hopefully nothing ran away. You don't get Persona right, so that's fair to the opponent, because boy howdy would that be stupid.
Yep.
And you only get 1 drive check, so it's like worst case scenario is 2 damage if you hit a crit.
Exactly.
Thank God they don't hit the OT, but you know, still only 2 crits.
But you still get to activate your first ability. So Soul Blast 1, put something engaged, gain triple drive. So you gain twin drive nonetheless.
Oh, that's gross. Oh, that had to be good. So to be fair, the gauges are orders you play in the deck.
No, gauge can be anything. She can gauge anything. So as long as she's got 5 gauges, she can do the divine skill. She gives 5k to the front row continuously for every Distorted Bane as a gauge.
For the gauges, how many times can you gauge in your turn?
So we're gonna get to that. So the starter is a starter. The grade 1 is the grade 1. Basically, more likely reveal Liel in your ride line. Get this Destined Timepiece token, which is the set order in the other zone. Destined Timepiece token apparently says continuous order zone. You cannot ride grade 3 order with Liel. We don't know, and then you can get regress gauges. We don't know if it has any other abilities just yet. Grade 2 ride line apparently says when placed by riding from a grade 1, put a card from your hand face up as a regress gauge and draw 2 cards. So by the time you hit grade 2, you are already at 1 regress gauge. Grade 2 support card. When this unit is placed on rear guard, choose one of your units and gets 5k until the end of turn. When this unit is put as a regress gauge, choose one of your Vanguards or Aliens card and gets 5k until the turn. And then here's the Distorted Bane. This is a normal order, so the more of these you have in your gauge zone, the bigger your front row gets. It says play it with Liel. More likely it's like an energy cost or something. Soul Charge 1, put a card face up as a regress gauge, draw a card, choose one of your Vanguards, and it gets 10k until the end of turn.
Oh, it's like Persona riding, but not.
Exactly.
It's like half a Persona ride.
So there's the second way to get a regress gauge, by playing in order. Liel attacking gets you 3. So more likely on your turn 4, just by one of the effects we've currently read, on your turn 4, you can potentially get up to 4 with another order, 5 with Liel's skill.
So by the time it's your second grade 3 turn, which is majority of divine skills, There's obviously the outliers, but so it's not totally cracked where you can get this before they get to grade 3.
There's a grade 1 support
happens.
card. There's a grade 1 support card that says, when placed on rearguard, if you have a grade 3 Liel, Cannibalists will look at 5 cards, choose up to 1 card from among them, and call it to rearguard. So it's a on-place Cannibalists 1 call from top 5, as well as apparently during your battle phase, if it boosted, grade 3 or greater Vanguard Liel is card name, 5k power. So this might be the dedicated support booster. And then grade 3 support card from the episode said, rearguard when this unit attacks, if your grade 3 Vanguard Liel is card name, this unit gets 5k until the end of battle, choose one of your opponent's rearguards and retire it. So it's got removal. And then cost conditions, auto gauge zone. At the beginning of your battle, if this card is in your regress gauge, put a card from your drop face up as a regress gauge and call this card to rearguard.
Oh, gross. So you can have stuff run away, go to the gauge zone, get it back on your next turn.
Hell, just from the cards we've seen in the episode and what we read, you can activate the order, put a card as a regress gauge from your hand. I think it's from hand, so I'll try and put this card. Oh, never mind. It's put this card. The order just puts itself. Great. If for some reason the order hit drop zone or something, it's going to put the card from your drop. Yeah, you can put the order into there and then put this card on the board, and it's like, hey, look, 5k more. This looks to be a fun deck.
No, it looks like, I don't think it's going to be like busted. You know, it's definitely not Chronojet, but it has like the motifs of Chrono with like the gears and stuff, like taking the extra turn with the whole time, you know, theme. That's very fitting. It's like, it's a cute ability, but it's not like game backbreaking, I don't think. And you only get it once in a game. So like,
exactly. The biggest thing that some of the community are a little bit disheartened around this card is the fact that because of the way an extra turn works is, yes, you as the player running Liel would lose any extra trigger effects, drive check effects, yada yada yada, any effects that say give until the end of turn. Subsequently, because of that, your opponent also loses those. So if they hit defensive triggers, again an extra turn, you lose those defensive triggers.
Well, so it is reciprocal at least. I think it's a fair balancing tool though, because like if you had stuff getting like 10k power because of just their own abilities still in a turn, them getting shrunk back down, and you're not being able to proc them again, keeping it fair. The fact that she gains triple drive though, so it's effectively twin drive again. So that's like 5 drive checks across. And you discard
turn. And you discard 2 to activate divine skill, so you've not really negatived or plussed, but you did get to drive check 5 times.
The plussing is aggroing your opponent to hell and back.
Oh yeah, true. There is the draw for turn though. There is technically a plus.
Yeah, and also the at least it's not like a trigger, so it's just adding to hand. So it's not making the rear guards bigger or the Vanguard. And is there multi-attack? I wasn't
at this current point. We don't know if there's multi-attack. I'm going to ignore any comments.
So if there's no multi-attack, I think it's more fair.
So the only thing I still want to mention about this card, because we don't know if it's graphic design error, we don't know if it's intentional. The episodes have not been coherent with some of the promotional material. If you notice on her art, she doesn't have the Persona Ride symbol.
Correct. And people are like, oh, we're moving away from Persona Ride. And then some people are like, oh, it's from a different timeline where they don't have Persona Ride. And it's like, it's just a lot of theory crafting. And I'm just like, man, y'all getting high on your own fumes.
Yeah, but then there's material from the episode that actually shows that she does have the Persona Ride icon. So it's like, okay, which is it now?
So it was just a marketing. Either it's intentional or by accident.
Well, no, next Tuesday.
For sure, yeah.
Anyway, there's only one more bit of news that we're going to cover real quick. And there are 2 bits of news, sorry. We have confirmation that inside of set 3 that's coming out next week, there will be the lyrical collaboration, retrains, restamps, yada, yada, yada. Not a lyrical, Bang Dream. So more Bang Dream vanilla crits, as well as Bang Dream perfect guards, triggers, and orders inside of this set. With some alternate arts.
Oh, so they get like foiling rarities, I'm guessing?
Something like that, yes.
Oh, they're alternates compared to the originals. Okay.
I think it's just more of them.
Yeah, can confirm I did pull a triple rare trigger in my pre-release
there we
Alex pulled a signed one.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun again. Anyway,
He
this is
already
the
traded
last.
it.
This is the last bit of news I want to cover. Busher
these
on
little
stream
guys.
announced that they're gonna do this giant collab, and yes, they kind of hyped us up a bit. The hype was kind of okay, but not exactly where we were expecting. There was a shirt that threw some people off. We're not gonna talk about that. But apparently, the Collects collab set that we're going to be having for Vanguard is going to be with the Corocoro magazine. Huzzah! And basically what that means is the trends we've been seeing with some of the boss promo units, the Savariel guy, the Black Velstra Ostrom guy, as well as the recent reveal of the babies Bobo and Christianos. We got more confirmation that they're going to be getting a lot more support.
Dude, yeah, I read the Welstra guy. I just scrolling earlier today, and I'm like, oh, that's actually pretty solid. Or no, you had it in the in the drive, and I read it. I'm like, that's actually not half bad. Like, it's just a cute alternative. It's just really fun. It just looks like a fun alternative to the Welstra.
So I've actually recorded a video with it. It was without the triple rare for Velstra that he recently got. So it's going to be a little bit more tame than it could potentially be.
Yeah, no, he look, his design's cool, and just what he can do in general. I'm like, okay, that looks like that's just an open area for fun right there.
All I'm going to say, Lon, I'm going to really make this real quick and easy. You call Freiheit, you make him, you operate whatever. Start your attack phase, you attack with whatever is on the side. You attack with Freiheit, Soul Blast 2, operate maximum, make maximum a unit. Actually, not even that, actually. You put on the other side the fucking grade 3 for Ostrom that says, hey, Soul Blast and Ostrom, restand it. So you attack with Freiheit, operate, neck 5 them, attack with this, attack with the Vanguard, stand Freiheit, stand this, attack with this, attack with Freiheit, Soul Blast 2, operate that, bounce at the hand, call maximum as a unit, attack with maximum.
I'm going to pretend I followed at least half of that.
It's fun.
For you explaining Welstra cards is like breathing. Like, you can just do it naturally. What I want to know is, which nation does the old man belong to? Because I know 3 of them. Dragon Empire?
Dragon Empire.
Because you could argue the guy with the like lightning bolts come out of his head could be Dragon Empire too. So I was just like, who drew the short stick? Or arguably, who drew the best stick? Because I bet with a stupid looking art like that, he's got something busted to do.
Pantsless Old Man is for Dragon Empire. The Lightning Kid is more than likely Oslar just for Dark States. Black is Brentgate and Astrum.
I thought it was Stoy.
Stoy is the baby. Bobo.
I thought the Dark States was the baby.
No, Bobo is Christianos.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense since the psychic. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I was running on the assumption that that's what that was. No, that makes a lot more sense that that's Dark States.
There's a lot more other info regarding these. I'm just going to go real quick through them. A new nation, Corocoro, is going to be introduced basically with these. So they're all going to share a nation, and more likely as well as the nation they are a part of. Building a deck with Corocoro also. Yeah. Of course, you can build decks focused around each specific work, create your own unlimited deck. Buy a box to create a deck. If you buy a box containing 24 packs, you can build a Corocoro deck immediately. It comes with everything you need: Sentinels, triggers, ride deck, and energy generator. Moving on to the next slide. The card for the collab will be Dual Nation. Many of the new cards belong to not only to the nation of Corocoro, but also the regular nations. Combine them with the quick start decks or boost pack cards to strengthen your deck. And as this is where the confirmation, Grandpa Danger is Dragon Empire. All great achievements require time is the Dark States one. Black Channel is the Brentgate one. Dekasugi Dekakun is the Keter one. And Baby is the Stoikea one.
Oh my goodness, what you said just made me laugh.
Yeah. Apparently also there will be apparently they'll also be including cards drawn by legendary artists.
Ooh.
So that's gonna be fun. And then last but not least, the release date for Japan. That's not right. For the release date for Japan is November 15th. If we ever get this in English, it will probably be sometime in 2025.
Yeah, I was about to say this could end up a situation of where it's the monster slot deck.
A lot of licensing potential problems can be happening here for us not to get this in English.
Unfortunate, but I hope we
Only
do
time will tell.
because, yeah.
Anyway, with all that being said, we can actually end this episode here. Thank you everybody so much for watching or listening to episode 230 of V-Time. If you love the episode, please like, share with your friends. Comment down below what you're excited for the Night Ride ride, the Leo effects, or maybe whenever we get it, the Hari stride. But if you like what you do here, subscribe to that channel and ring that bell to get notified. Maybe even become a member for some awesome perks, like telling me what I need to know in my ear.
Yeah.
Anyway, with all that being said though, I've been Philip.
I've been long.
And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Woo! Did I really make you laugh with the Danger Grandpa?
I didn't know its name. It just caught me off guard. Danger Grandpa? That's like the best card name ever. John, look at this. That's Danger Grandpa.